Hey everybody, Randall Cornet here. Hope you guys are having a great day. Wanted to come by and give you guys a little quick update on kind of what I've seen. I did see some relatively large dark pool prints today. So I wanted to go over that, the dark pool volume, and then a few more interesting things that I think people are getting confused. So we'll jump right into it. So you're looking over here to the right of the screen. These show basically not all of the dark pool prints, but these ones are going to show the ones that are over, $1 million. So if you look, not all of these are dark pool prints either. These blocks right here, when it doesn't say dark pool block, those are just normal, generally VWAP trades. Off exchange, but not really done in the dark pool. Now these dark blocks, these are what the dark pool transactions are. So if you look right here, I'm inclined to believe that these are probably the same person, these 7.7 million ones. There's two of them. One was executed when the stock was $51.48. The other one was executed when it was $51.85. Now, if we come forward about another, almost an hour, we can see, actually, no, this is 4 hours later. We can see that I think this is the same person as well. Another $7.7 million purchase at $51.55. So all of these occurred at that $51 price point. So those are just the three. The largest one of the day was 548,000 shares, and that was done at $52.03. That was a $28 million stock purchase in the dark pool. So overall, there was $59.2 million traded in the dark pool in these larger prints, not overall, just in these large prints that my alerts have triggered. So in these larger buys, there was $59.2 million flowing in the dark pool for AMC. That turns to 1.163 million shares overall. So when we look at the price action that we've seen today, we know that there was 1.16 million shares, purchased in the dark pool, and those could be used, in the lit market. So there's two beliefs that you could subscribe to here. And, I think it's probably a little bit of a mixture of both. But so we could assume that it's possible that market makers are routing our orders through the dark pool, which you guys have all heard this before. And basically you're getting your orders executed in the dark pool, so we have no positive price impact. Now, there's also the notion or the theory that when you basically that these guys maybe are purchasing shares in the dark pool, right? So that they can then go and sell them off in the actual lit market. So the kind of the inverse. So they'll buy the stock in the dark pool, so it has no positive price movement, then take the stock into the lit exchanges and sell them off, right? So it could be a combination of the two, which is what I think it probably is. But very interesting when you look at this. Normally, we don't have this many large prints in a day, right? And this is a rather large one. $28 million purchase in the dark pool at $52. Somebody had lined this up nicely. So that brings me on to the next point. So the overall volume today for the dark pool was 45 million. That was 59% of the total volume throughout AMC today. So again, just right under 60%. So we could definitely see that there's a reason why our price is really not reflecting what we think it should be, because, obviously they're manipulating the shit out of it in the, dark pools. So moving on, I do want to show you guys something. I know a lot of people like stock grid. I do too, actually. But I got a couple messages of people asking, because at one point this position was up to 600 million. And people are asking, well, where did those 300 million shares go? And the position value has fell dramatically. Well, I want you guys to pay attention. It's really important to know that this data, so these bottom two numbers right here, the position and the position amount, is the overall of the 20-day cumulative sum of the series. So it's all those numbers added up over a 20-day period. So it's not, that number is going to constantly change as you move farther out from that original start date on that 20th. So this is just the 20-day overall, cumulative sum. So that being said, I do want to show you guys something. If we come down here and we actually look at the AMC ticker, it did look like some of the short volume has, dried up, because look, at one point on the 14th, we were seeing 69 million in short volume, 73. We did kind of drop down on the 16th, but then we picked right back up. But then, pretty much for this entire week, we're sitting, sub 20 million. At one point, we even got down to 14. So what does that mean for us? Well, number one, it could mean that they're not so much routing our orders as much as they usually do. It could have something to do with the fact that, these short shares really, and if you guys have watched any of my other videos, you'll know that this short volume is actually representative of, in most cases, of buying volume. So, let's say your order gets routed to the dark pool, the market maker in the dark pool fulfills your order, so you get your stock back. But that market maker on the dark pool is actually at that point starting a short position because they're giving you a stock, your AMC stock that you bought, they actually don't have. So that number is actually going to be reported as short volume. So it did pick back up today, which is, obviously we could see kind of because we're seeing that in the price in terms of, kind of, obviously on a downward trend today. But we bounced back really, really well. Now, something really important that I want you guys to realize is this number. See how this number increased, this short exempt volume? So what that means is, you guys know what the SSR is, right? So when that triggers, when the SSR triggers, basically, a lot of times, like as a fail-safe, these market makers can revert back. And these market makers work hand in hand with thou who shall not be named, but basically the hedge funds that we're against, a lot of times they're in cahoots. So when SSR triggers, this is a way where you can actually continue to short the stock, even though there is SSR basically initiated. I actually have a whole video covered on this. I'll try and put that in the card so you guys can go watch that. But these guys can basically float like above the law. And the worst part about it is it's self-regulated, and only until somebody maybe sees a red flag or decides they want to, put their nose in there, will they actually get caught. And all they have to do really is justify that they believe that it's reasonable to be in a short position, and they can kind of get off of this. So the short exempt volume, you can kind of tell as we increased today, the price went down, SSR triggered, and this number absolutely spiked. I mean, compared to what we were seeing for the past, up until June 23rd to now, it's been relatively low. And then boom, we hit SSR and you've seen this number shoot the hell up. So that's really interesting to me. And it just goes to me, in my mind, this is just more manipulation. These guys kind of playing above the rules. This is like another trick up their sleeve, so to speak. So now I do want to show you guys one other thing. Let me go to Adam Aron's Twitter. So if you guys watched my last video when I had 6 on there, you guys know we were kind of right on this. We were right on the money with what we were talking about. But Adam went ahead and cleared it up himself, right? So I'm just going to read it up. While cleaning up FUD for today about, so this, I'm actually going to go over that one next. So there's 2 different things here. So let me go down. Okay, so here we go. So much information being spread about our recent S3 filing withdrawal. The filing was purely housekeeping in nature, required by SEC rules because the S3 was obsolete and therefore moot. All previously disclosed in the January 21st, or on January 21st. Nothing new in it, nothing good or bad for AMC. Silver Lake's $600 million in bonds in the S3 were all converted into shares and eliminated all that debt back in January 21. The shares were all sold. Also in January, included in all share counts since. There was no purpose for the S3 now on no bonds that no longer exist, so the S3 was withdrawn. That's it, plain and simple, purely administrative. No new bonds, no new shares, nothing new actually, no impact, good or bad, on the AMC. So I actually think that he's downplaying this because in a good way, like being humble, because it could have been a bad thing if the notes that they still swapped. So they swapped those, 2026 notes for the 2024 notes. The 2024 notes were then, given to Silver Lake. They converted those shares and sold them, but those 2026 notes still existed and on paper, theoretically, right? So him pulling this withdrawal is taking those 2026 notes and completely eliminating them. And the filing was just basically setting it in stone. They're pulling that off. There's no need for them to act on any of the notes. So really great job, Six, for helping us come to that conclusion, because you were absolutely right on the money. And that being said, we will move in. He actually did speak on some other stuff that a lot of people did have some FUD about, because Centricus, were able to kind of link Centricus to Citadel Securities. So people were connecting Adam Aron to Citadel Securities. Well, just reading this, While I'm cleaning up FUD today about my Centricus board seat. Centricus was created by my closest European friend of 20 plus years, highly regarded former chairman of luxurious Silver Sea Cruises. And remember, Adam was in the cruise business. It is a SPAC, a financial vehicle to acquire an existing operating company. Centricus raised 300 plus million in the open market to do so. I pay no attention to which institutional investors own Centricus shares and have no contact with them. My director role is merely to ensure that Centricus complies with all laws, its bylaws, and the SPAC norms. I have no direct knowledge, but I hear that Citadel may be playing games with Centricus, possibly arbitraging its stocks and bonds is no friend to Centricus. But as I said, I have no direct knowledge. One way or the other, Centricus announced in May that it intends to combine with Arquette Limited, a leader in quantum encryption technology, when it gets government and shareholder approval to proceed and does so. So hopefully later this year, I would expect to leave its board. So that should kill the FUD for you guys on the Adam Aron front and him having ties with Citadel. And that's about all I have for you guys today. So I hope you enjoy the content. As always, if you guys do, it does me a huge favor in getting the message out, liking, obviously, and then hitting that subscribe button. I'd love you long time. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.